was the Chinese are the strong ones, and we will be merged into the New World Order. And I gathered from listening to his buzzwords that we will be relegated to third world status when the elite complete their New World Order state.
Probably the person, when it comes to Bible prophecy, what God is saying other than just within the King James Bible, the person that they most respect is Dumitru Duduman, Romanian pastor, smuggled Bibles into Romania and Russia for some 30 years. They put him on the electric chair twice, trying to get him to tell how he was smuggling Bibles. When the electricity is going through his body, the angel Gabriel showed up in the room and said, "You're not going to die. You're going to America," to give them a warning from God. When he got here, the angel Gabriel came to him and said, and this ties in with what you're saying about China, said that the fall of America would begin with an internal revolution started by the communists. Some of the people would start fighting against the government. The government would be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 other countries will attack and defeat America in 1 hour. Revelation 18, Jeremiah 50, 51, other verses in the Bible will be fulfilled. Then, here's your part. Then God will raise up China and Japan and many other nations. They'll go against the Russians. They'll defeat the Russians. They'll back the Russians to the gates of Paris where they'll sign a peace treaty, but they'll make the Russians their leader.
Program in the interest of security and civil defense measures as requested by the United States government.
Attention, attention. This is an official civil defense warning. This is not a test. The United States is under nuclear attack. Take cover immediately and carry a fallout shelter. Repeat, the United States is under nuclear attack.
The torpedo that sunk the Cheonan and took the lives of 46 South Korean sailors was fired by a North Korean submarine.
They're telling you. Oftentimes in Hollywood movies, they'll tell you what they're going to do, like they did in Oil Storm. They may tell you through the national media. As much as I dislike it, you can't trust most of what they say. But every now and then they tell you what they're going to do. So they will always tell you everything they're going to do in advance. I know that sounds strange, but you see, the elite do have a moral code. It's quite different than your moral code and my code. They will tell you what they're going to do. And I would like to explain and show you some perfect examples of how the elite will tell you what they're going to do before they do it.
Yes. The former head of the Israeli Shin Bet intelligence services, Avi Dichter, who's accused of war crimes against the Palestinians, spoke beside FBI Director Robert Mueller at a police convention, at a convention before 11,000 top law enforcement officers. And after Mueller called Dichter his mentor in counterterrorism, Dichter urged American police to see to view their opponents, those they seek to arrest, as crimi-terrorists. In other words, to blur the line between common criminals and terrorists. So what we're seeing is not only a legal blurring of the lines between criminals, terrorists, and protesters, but something in the mindset of American policing and in their training, in which the civilian population is viewed as a hostile and menacing force that can be acted against with military-grade weaponry.
3 years, 20,000 more U.S. troops, but not to Iraq or Afghanistan. According to Pentagon officials, these men and women will be stationed inside of the U.S. Thousands of additional uniformed men and women set to be trained by 2011. They'll serve as a response to a possible mass terror attack or civil unrest following an economic collapse.
Now in effect.
withdrawals. We don't know where we will get our next meal from.
So how concerned are Americans about this?
20,000 more troops here in the U.S.?
I have not heard any of that, actually. No, I'm not. First time I've heard of it.
Ben Friedman of the Cato Institute, a libertarian think tank, explained what this bombshell will mean for the U.S.
Is this just the beginning of this expansion of presidential authority, of military authority here in the U.S.?
I hope not. We've seen the expansion of the use of the military within the United States for some time. A lot of the concern with this story about these troops being used for domestic purposes was that they would engage in law enforcement, arresting people, detaining them. They can't do that.
The president appeared at the UN to call for severe sanctions against North Korea.
The world got a rare glimpse inside reclusive North Korea overnight during the highly choreographed funeral for the dear leader Kim Jong-il.
Some of the more puzzling scenes broadcast to the world: American cars from the 1950s, followed by a fleet of brand new Mercedes.
And the soundtrack? Constant wailing by mourning North Koreans that some suspect was staged.
On our top story tonight, a bill written in secret by Senator McCain and Senator Carl Levin that would give the U.S. military and non-civilian law enforcement agencies the ability to arrest anyone and hold that person indefinitely, even if that person is an American arrested on American soil.
It's time to cut the fucking heads off these cowards and snakes. I'm standing on stage watching this world awake. I hope your eyes are open and you can see the fate. Always moving forward, making no mistakes. It's time to cut the heads off of these cowards and snakes. Hold up, stop. You think I'm done yet? I haven't even had enough time to make this tongue wet. With a no regret, I'm a triple threat. I thought you knew this. White, quick wit, and no religion to get me through this. Nothing to it, just adjust my flow to make my influence. I'm a professor giving lessons, so don't be truant. When you just do my flows, then it's time for me to flip. Rip the essence from your breath before my time tip. Get a grip, or hold on to your line. I'll try to slow down my mind so you can absorb my rhymes. We are in the prime time to keep the time prime and destroy these fucking bacon bitches for the last time. I'm standing on stage watching this world awake. I hope you're awake and you can see.
Story just posted to the RTR newsfeed regarding, get this, a SWAT team called in by the Department of Education to raid a home and collect a debt. We'll get Sheriff Richard Mack's exclusive take on the increased use of SWAT teams nationwide and Congressman Ron Paul's remarks on the Department of Education after this ABC News 10 clip. This is what they did to my door.
At 6 this morning, a SWAT team surprised Kenneth Wright at his front door.
In my underwear. Before I get to the door, I hear him say, hit it. And I get ready to hit the door, and they hit the door. They almost hit me. So I said, hold on. They hit it again. I said, hold on.
But the SWAT team busted in, taking Wright.
They come grab me by my neck and drag me out my house to right there in the grass.
Thrown to the ground and handcuffed, law enforcement then searched his house.
And they put me in the backseat of a police car for over 6 hours. From 6 o'clock to 12:30. They had me handcuffed in the back of a police car with nothing on but my ripped up underwear that they ripped in the yard.
Wright says they also woke his 3 children, holding them for 2 hours. But they failed to find their quarry, Wright's estranged wife. Wright later complained to Stockton's mayor and police, but the city pointed to the U.S. Department of Education.
They say you owe a student loan and you gotta pay it. I just had my door kicked in because of this.